demonstration, what we want to learn how to do is create a volume on the disk enclosure, attach it to the server using the iQstor's Sand Manager application. What you're currently looking at here is the topology view of the iQstor's Sand Manager application. If you look here on the left, you will see all the visible servers. Over here on the right, all the visible disk enclosures. What we want to do is create a link between LabXeon and Demo 580. Doing this by creating a volume on the disk enclosure Demo 580. To do so, we'll go over to LabXeon. We want to double click on this and open up its window. And then we can go to Volumes and right click and select Create Volume. Go down and select Next. And then on the pull down menu for disk enclosures, we will select the Demo 580. Select Next. Go up and select Add to create the volume. And here we'll enter in the capacity of the volume we want to use. We'll say 25 gigs. We'll leave the drive letter at D. We'll select Fast Format for the demonstration. And then we'll give it a volume label. We'll call it Accounting. Type this in. Go over and select OK. Select Next. And right now we should see the iSCSI initiator pop up, and this is where we select the host port on the server for the iSCSI we want to use. So we will select the 10.10.10.242 since that's the only iSCSI port I have on the server. Select Next. And right now what it's doing is calling out to Microsoft's iSCSI initiator, and it's discovering the targets. It will next log in the targets through the iSCSI initiator. Now what it's doing is calling out to Microsoft's Disk Manager, and it's scanning for physical disks. And after this is complete, it will start to create the partition. Once the partition has been created, we'll get a confirmation window stating that partition was created. And it's still creating the partition. And here's our confirmation window. It says we created a volume B, it's 26 gigabytes, has a vDisk ID of V0016. Let's select Finish, and if you look up here, we in fact have a volume labeled D with a title of Accounting. We'll close out of this, and we can go over to our disk enclosure and verify that that vDisk was created simply by double-clicking on Demo 580, selecting vDisk, and you can see we have our V0016, it's called Accounting, it's 26 gigs. Close this out, and to show link between the Demo 580 and the LabXeon, we can go up to the refresh option, click, and that will refresh the topology view in the iQstor's Sand Manager. And once that refresh is complete, we should see a link between the Demo 580 and the LabXeon server. There's our link. It's a little green line that shows that we are connected. And once that's done, this volume is now ready for use in the server. That will conclude this demonstration on creating a volume on the disk enclosure using the iQstor's Sand Manager application.